the world.
Totally. We are up early and it's good to have you. So Eva Crane is going to speak to us on what if changes are the path to self-love. Eva Crane has been a coach for over 20 years and she's an author and a speaker and the founder of the Expansion Method, the easy way to delete our programming that no longer serve us and install a new ones that align with our goal and vision. You can find more on that. You can find more on her website called evacrinewallen.com. Evacrin, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here and to share this. Is really my favorite topic, and it's something that I found out many years ago. I was so not in. To say that I wasn't in love with myself is really an understatement because I couldn't stand myself. And what I want to share with you today is how I found a path to really enjoy time with myself through challenges. So the topic of what I want to speak to you is called What If Challenges Are the Path to Self-Love? So I want to start with asking you, do you know what the number one thing that people usually are most afraid of? It's not dying. It's not doing presentations on stage, and it's not being lonely. But it is how we feel about speaking from stage, dying, and being lonely. And it doesn't even have to be those kind of things. Just think of a phone call that you had to make, but you thought to yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And maybe you never did it. So why do we do those things? It's because they feel uncomfortable. And we don't like to feel pain. We don't like to feel physical pain. We don't like to feel emotional pain. So we do the best we can to avoid it. And normally we are not even aware that that is what we're doing. We don't want to be alone. So we binge watch Netflix, we eat and we drink just because it makes us feel better. And just look at all the commercials pointing at our pain and showing that their solution to get away from it, that they have the solution for that. I mean, you can gamble for money, you can buy beauty cream, travel to exotic places. And that is all a cover up and putting a lid on what is actually going on. And that, my friend, is a good thing for the companies, but a bad thing for you. Because a buried feeling never dies. So we want to feel better, and we think that the solution is to avoid feeling bad. But actually, the uncomfortable feelings, they want us to feel better. They are carrying a clue for us to uncover, to rise up and feel better and stay better. They want us to understand. Let me share a story with you, a real life story. I live in a townhouse and it's 4 houses that are set together. And one day, a couple of years ago, in early August, someone was furiously banging on our front door. And I opened and there stood someone I've never seen before. And he was shouting at us, or at me, "Your house is on fire, you have to get out." And I shouted to the family, "We have to get out, house is on fire." It was really surreal. And if I, then we just went out of the house, of course, and the only thing we could do was just watch the firemen do their job. And we just had the clothes we were wearing and the shoes on their feet. And our uncomfortable feelings, they are similar to the man banging on the door, because it was really uncomfortable news. But had we stayed in the house, not wanting to hear what was going on, we would have risked our lives. So can you see how caring your uncomfortable feelings actually are? And we don't need to suffer. Feelings are not the truth. They are filters that we see the world through. And we're always going to have reactions to what happens in life. And in the Western society, we are a head culture. And many of us are not aware of what is going on in the body. And a question I've asked many times is, how do you know that you have a challenge? And I usually get a puzzled face back. And my answer to that is, it's because it doesn't feel good. And because we are not used to notice what is going on in our body, it needs to scream higher and higher until the pain is so loud that we cannot not hear it. So if you want to join me in a little bit of an experiment and see where you are at this, how you feel, experience what is going on inside of you. Start with pinching yourself. And you can feel that. And if you pinch hard, it's a bit uncomfortable. You don't need to do that. And then put your hand on your chest and notice how that feels. Do you feel good? Do you feel happy? Joyful? Or maybe you feel sad and maybe darkness. And now put your hand on your stomach. How does that feel? Are you at ease or is it tense? Can you breathe properly? Or do you have a shallow breath? There's nothing right or wrong about these things, whatever you're feeling. What you are feeling are clues from your body to your brain. And when you can make these two cooperate, then you will step into your full power. I told you in the beginning that I found my way to self-love through challenges. And I'm going to share a turning point in my life in this, because I used to have a knot in my stomach for years without even noticing it until it became so strong that I couldn't deny it anymore. And the defining moment for me was when I went to a party and I really felt I did not belong. I felt totally out of place. And I guess no one would have noticed if I was there or not. So I waited until I found a proper time to excuse myself so I could leave. And when I came home, I had this knot in my stomach and it was aching. So I pulled up pen and paper and I started to journal. And I asked questions to the pain. I asked what it wanted from me and why it was there. And I got answers. It said I did not belong. I should not try to be with friends with those kind of people because they're so much better than me. I should stay with my own kind, which is not the good ones. I kept on writing, and even though it was painful to bring all these ideas up and onto paper, I knew I could not run away from it anymore. And suddenly, the pain just went away, and I felt good. I didn't feel like I was less worthy anymore. And I remember how I was looking out through the window. I saw the trees, I saw the houses outside. They were the same as yesterday and the day before, but still they looked different. Well, it was me that was different. In that moment, I started to really appreciate myself, and my journey to loving myself got started for real. And the thing is that everyone likes challenges, but the challenges are different for different people. Some people, they climb mountains and others do crosswords. We like to be challenged as long as the brain believes that it's safe. So imagine that you are going to do something you haven't done before, like starting a business. And you start out enthusiastically and you have a goal in mind. And when you do the plan, it looks like it's just to take one step at a time and you will get there. But I'm sure that every one of you that has set up for something new knows that it doesn't work that way. We always get challenged. So let's pretend to go back to this person who wants to start a business. He needs to sell. And he has this idea of what to sell, and he has 10 people, and everyone says no. What happens? Well, he's probably going to start doubt himself. I'm not good at this. I'm not made to be an entrepreneur. Basically, I'm not good enough to make this work happen. Okay, let's find out what really happened here. When no one wanted to buy, he got disappointed. And with that came emotional pain. Instead of trying to avoid feeling it or drown in it and believe that it's the truth, he can start to listen and become aware of the clues. So it's a part of him that believes that he's not good enough to be an entrepreneur. It's not 100% of him, it's just a part of him that suddenly become really present with him. So that's the message. Good to know. Is it the truth? No, not yet anyway. It is more a fear of a possible future. So now when he's aware of it, he can make a conscious choice to decide that he is good enough. And for everyone that has tried to do positive affirmations, you know that it's not the easiest thing to change an idea that comes from a strong feeling. But I'm going to show you how to do that. And that is called thankfulness. To give thanks to the painful feeling of not being good enough, in this case, sometimes it takes 5 seconds, and sometimes it can take 5 days, depends on the situation. Because the feeling is your friend that wants to save you from a burning house. And finally, you are listening and taking action. So just notice you have a goal, and then you meet resistance, and you have this painful feeling. Notice what is going on in your body and the thoughts in your head as well. Because that is creating awareness. So these uncomfortable feelings are knocking on the door to help you create awareness. Isn't that good? So now you can thank the uncomfortable feeling that helped you to create awareness. That is what you're thanking them for. And when you can sit and feel this gratefulness, it knows that you have listened. So it no longer has any purpose to stay with you, and then it can leave you. And you have become an upgraded version of you. And also, what happens because when you feel pain, it's difficult for you to be in contact with your intuition. But when you send gratitude, and you're going to start to feel calm, and then you have a lot better access to your intuition. So your intuition is your guide, because I'm sure you've felt it many times that you have this idea that might seem crazy to start with, no logical sense at all. But when you went with it, you could see that it really made a big difference in your life. That's your intuition talking, and it's called inspired action. Follow that and see what opens up for you. So now, when you see how your emotional pain can help you to move forward, there's no reason to be afraid of them anymore. So set your eyes on where you want to go, what you want to experience and explore. Be conscious of the challenges and use them to up-level yourself, and you will find self-love on the way. And I have a gift to you as well, and it might seem like a strange gift on this topic, but it's called up-level your money set point. And I'm going to read on my other screen about it, because your subconscious is running your life, at least to 90-95%. And we have all these programmings in our system, and the body is the vehicle that we can understand what is going on in our subconscious. We can also see it in our real life, because the results we get in real life, they are coming from our choices that we have made on the way. And most choices we make unconsciously or subconsciously. So if you have felt that you have the same results over and over again, but you would like to create new results, and you try different things, you do try to do different things, different strategies, but nothing really changes in the results in the outside world. And maybe you feel frustrated and angry and hopelessness. That are the messages I was talking about. The thing is to understand and decode the messages, because that's the only way, from my point of view, for you to change your results. And you can do a crash course. You can move, like headstrong into challenges, and like break through, like a martial art person that can crack cement blocks with their hand. You can do that if you're really, really headstrong. But most of us are not like that. I know I am not. So then it's so easy to get stuck in our limitations and actually believe in them, because they feel so true. And so what I provided for you is something I call how to find love to oneself by using money as a tool to find what is stopping you. Money is such a good thing to work with, because we have so many, the relationship to money is so difficult, because we have it from our culture we grew up in, from our parents, how they were talking or not talking about money, how they were handling money, and if we reacted to it or not. So I met people that they can easily attract money to them, but they can't keep it. That it's like they're spending it on things, on everything. I don't know what they're spending it on, but they just go away. Then there are people that have not easy to attract money, but they can save, so they can live a good life anyway. And then as soon as you feel some kind of stress or some kind of discomfort regarding money, in whatever shape or form, there's a message hidden in there. And the thing is that using money, that we have to, everything, we see money every day, maybe not real money, but the results of money. The computer we're using right now is coming because I paid money for it. So we touch money every day. And therefore, it's a good tool to use to reach a deeper level into the subconscious mind, and to change whatever is going on. A lot of times it's about self-worth, but it's also about other things: fear of the rejection, fear of being visible, all kinds of things. And when you release those patterns, using money as a tool to reach your subconscious mind and the limitations and transform them, you will see that the results will also show up in other areas of your life. So when we go to the root cause of it, because a habit you have is usually something that shows in different areas in your life. So when you use one place to find it, if you understand what I mean, you will release it in several areas in your life as well. So it's a free course in 4 modules. And the main thing is to help you find the messages. And with that, I mean the limitation, the uncomfortable feelings. And when you're willing to see those, then you can create magic in your life. Yeah.
Is that nice? That's really interesting presentation there. What, so the big package of your give, can you give more? Can you elaborate more on it for the audience that are watching?
Sure. So the everything builds on creating awareness, because when we create awareness, we have to decide what we want to create, because we are amazing creators all the time. And if we have things in our life that we're not happy with, we still created it. And the more we can take responsibility for what we create in life, the easier it will be to recreate into something new. It's so easy for people to say, well, because it's snowing here, I cannot do this or that. I'm going to wait. Yeah, you can do, but you can also adapt to the situation that you cannot do anything about. It's your perception that changes your reality. So setting a goal for what you want, and it's really good. A lot of people have difficulty to set goals, and a good way to start setting a goal, if that's the case, is to look at something that you are not satisfied with in your real life here now, and turn it into the opposite. Don't make it complicated. Just simply turn it around, make it the opposite. And the more specific you are, the better it is. I usually say that communicating with your subconscious mind is like talking to a 5-year-old. You have to be specific in the instructions. Otherwise, it can be misinterpreted. So, and just as an example of that is how we adults usually talk to each other. We understand what we mean, but we don't always say what we mean. So many years ago, I think my son was like 6 years old, and I was going to drive to the store to buy some food, and I had borrowed a book from a friend that lived on the way to the store. And I said, yeah, but I can give the book back to her while we're passing. And then he looked at me and said, well, how can you give the book back to her if you're passing her? Yeah. so,
Yeah.
so, and that is also how the subconscious mind understands the instructions. So we have to be specific.
Yeah.
And so, and let's take money, for example. Like, yeah, I want to make more money. Yeah, I'll give you $1. Yeah, that's more money. So I'm sure that is not what you really want. So you have to be specific. How much money do you really want to make? So, so that is setting a goal, creating awareness of what is in the way.
Yeah.
So then I ask, so why is this not going to happen? Maybe a strange question, you might think, but that is creating awareness of what is standing in the way.
Yeah, it's like getting at the bottom of the root cause. What is keeping you? Why aren't you there yet? And
yeah, because so many people I know try the positive thinking thing, and it works when you want to have a parking spot, because that is not that big thing, but it's difficult to create in other areas because we have limitations that we're not aware of, patterns that we're not aware of, that are sabotaging that for us. So by creating awareness around them, we learn more about ourselves, and we see what needs to change, because it's always about up leveling ourselves into a new state, a new higher version of yourself. And it's not about you becoming a different person. It's actually more you becoming more of who you truly are.
Yeah.
So think about a healthy child when a child is 2-3 years old. they're just running around playing, having fun, and then when something is wrong, they scream. So somewhere on the way, it changes. But what if we could have that confidence as adults that we just walk and we don't really care about the reactions we get from other people? We can just scream a little bit, shake it off, and move forward. But we get so many programmings from our surroundings, and many times because people care about us, but we interpret it in a different way because we don't have so much life experience as children.
So that's really interesting. If expanding on that note, if let's say, you know, we have been programmed certain way for our entire life, and we know that now we have come to realization that this is sabotaging our life, and I want to reverse this. Do you have a few of the, you know, tips or suggestion of how you could channel that part of you and say, okay, like I have strategic practices that I can use?
Yeah, and one of them was what I shared in my talk, the creating awareness, notice what it is, and get the message that, I don't feel like I'm made to be a business owner, maybe, or I'm not good at this. Something that happened to me recently, I made a mistake, and then I could really feel the pain. It wasn't a big mistake, but I could really feel the pain of making the mistake. And I realized that I had an idea that I was not allowed to make mistakes. I had to be perfect all the time, which is, I mean, it's not possible to be a human being and be perfect all the time, not making mistakes. But a part of me said it was not okay for me. So by acknowledge that and say, okay, that's a thing that I've been going with my whole life. It's time to change that, to allow myself to make mistakes. So that's the hidden message in this pain. And when I see the message and acknowledge it, and I also in the bio when you're presenting me, as you said, I'm the founder of the expansion method. That's a really easy and quick way. And on my website to transform things like that. So on my website, I have a couple of recordings of people where I happen to go through it, so people can experience it. Cool. So that is also possible. Yeah.
Thank you. We're probably gonna land. We're gonna call it off in a minute, but it has been really honor to listen to your speech and get really good insight of, you know, self-love, how to, you know, tune into our inner energy. So I'll probably call it off here. And for those listeners, all the detail for the free gift will be up on our dashboard. So don't feel like, go up there, you will find all of the goodies that she's offering.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate
it. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.